Well, hello. How's it going, Tyler?
I'm good. Hey, Chris, Brad, Pete.
Hi, Tyler.
Hey, he's here.
There's just the five of us here,
Awesome.
and then 100 other people.
Amongst ourselves.
How are you, Tyler?
I'm doing well here, and I'm sorry if I interrupted your guys' flow, but I'm here in my studio in Columbus right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just taking a break from working on some new stuff, and got your invite, so I decided to stop by and say hey. So.
Oh, I appreciate that. I also appreciate that pizza order you had the other night.
Yeah.
That went well.
Can't get enough, man.
We were just talking about how kind of your rhythm has changed here with this pandemic, and
Yeah.
you've probably been sitting in Columbus longer than you have in the last.
Yeah, I mean,
10 years.
probably, yeah, I've been touring almost 10 years now, and I was just telling my wife how I finally understand why someone would ever want to go on vacation. I think for 10 years straight, the idea of going on vacation turned my stomach, because all I wanted to do for 10 years was to go home. And so being at home for however many months now straight is probably easily the longest, without good reason. And I don't know. It's
And then you're not retiring then, are you? You're not doing anything like that.
I'm not doing what?
You're not doing anything like retiring then, are you?
I might be done. Well, maybe we'll have another conversation without these other guys on the call.
Yeah, all these other guys.
He's
Yeah.
always wanted to work at Donato. So.
Yeah.
Hey, Tyler, why don't you talk about this team a little bit? What is it about these three that have helped make the band go where it needs to go?
Well, I will say that every time, well, it hasn't been very often, because we don't, I don't know, we haven't gone to a lot of award shows, but anytime that we win an award and there's this idea of like, what do you say on stage? Who do you think? These three guys are on the top of the list. In fact, probably the only ones on the list. And I just never got around to thanking them. I just always either was taking my pants off in front of everyone, or saying something semi-jokingly or inspirational or whatever. And so, I mean, I guess that's kind of a quick way of saying how important these three dudes are.
They talk a lot about trust, and talk about trust between the artists and the management. And I think that it definitely rings true when we get to know all of you more and more. We get to talk. Yeah,
it's amazing, rubbing shoulders with other artists and other bands that, they don't necessarily have that trust, or that trust has been broken many times in the past for them with other people that they've worked with. And, I talk to them I'll try to encourage them, but at the end of the day, I tell them, I don't really know what that's like. I don't know what it means to always have to watch my back and always have to wonder if I'm being slighted. Mm-hmm. And it really, that trust that has been built with these guys is why I feel like I can focus on music or focus on having a family, or just focus on bettering myself. And a lot of energy and a lot of focus for a lot of artists is watching their own back. And I'm glad I don't have to do that.
Oh boy, that says a lot. It really does.
Yeah.
So what are you working on? Are you willing to divulge? I'm
thinking about going into real estate.
Got a fixer upper you're interested in?
Yeah, I'm just gonna start diving in. No, yeah. I'm always writing, always working on some songs. I think that I'm sure that they've addressed it already at this point, but this year for us was a lot of shows, just like any other year. We had a lot of festivals all over the world. We had our first stadium show in Moscow was going to be a little later this year. Really excited about that. And several other tours that we had planned that we didn't even announce. And obviously all that has been put on hold. So rewriting the rest of the year for us has been exciting, but also, I don't know, sometimes frustrating. I think ultimately being able to take out that frustration in a way that I get to write music and hopefully releasing music sooner than we'd thought is the goal and the focus. when we released this song, Level of Concern, I don't know, a few weeks ago, something like that.
Mhm.
I remembered how exciting it was to release music. It almost kind of like reawoke something in me that was, oh yeah, this is amazing. This is an amazing feeling to not just write and record, but to actually show someone. Even at a young age when I was writing songs, it started out always being for me. It was because I loved doing it and I was working through something personally, and for some reason songwriting and writing lyrics and getting those thoughts out in musical form always helped. But there was nothing like showing your brother that song or showing your parents that song or showing a close friend that song. There's something about watching that creation that happened in a vacuum, getting bounced off of another human and watching it come back at you and getting their response and the reaction that really validated what you were trying to say. And I fell in love with that feeling as well. And that's why releasing music and also playing shows is something that, I will always be in love with because of that back and forth that you get. And right now the show thing is not really a reality. So I'm hoping that it still exists when the dust settles, because I think it's I don't know, there's really nothing like it, to go to a live show.
Any sense that this time that you're having right now and the time in the world that we're having will have an effect on your creative product on the other end? Do you see a year from now that there's something different?
I mean, that's a good question. I think logistically things are changing. I mean, look at you. You figured out Zoom. We all figured it out. I've never had this program. In just on a creative level, though, even Josh and I working remotely, passing files back and forth, we always knew the age of the internet that was possible. But the idea of getting into a room with someone and working on music with them personally was always the ideal. And now being forced, not just geographically, but because of the times, to work remotely, I think that we've tapped into developing a new skill and being able to pass those files back and forth, those ideas back and forth, and something that we might continue to do, or at least have in our back pocket if we need to work that way in the future. So looking for the positive in it, it's, that's a skill that we've learned. Learning new instruments, getting better at the piano, learning how to play guitar, just trying to have the time to focus on getting the drums to hit right. Just little things, trying to take advantage of this time to get better at. Like I said, I hope that live music doesn't go away. I every time I get on a call with these guys, and they'll always say, "Oh, I mean, don't worry, that's ridiculous." But I'm the one that's all, concerned about. Can you even imagine thousands of people getting together right now? It's hard to even imagine. And I hope we don't lose it. So
Yeah, that's been a big part of your career.
Yep. Yes, it is. You might have to give me a part-time job at Donato's.
Yeah, we still have a couple of those delivery jobs open in case you or Josh were ready. So
I'm ready.
I don't want to take too much of your time. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me, guys. And
Anything you want to say to the group? There, we got a whole bunch of people from Columbus who are musicians and all interested in this whole process.
Similar to, yeah, I mean, I think it's really cool that people are interested in hearing this story. I know that there's so many layers to it, but no one's story is the same. And that's something that I tried to realize even at a local level when I was just starting. You could see other musicians, other artists, other people in the industry, and you would try to emulate that, either, literally by trying to write the music they were writing, or just trying to get to know the people that they knew. And they had this one song that got in front of this one person who gave you that one chance. And then that's how it lined up where they were able to play music for a living. And I always found that chasing that, putting all your eggs into one basket, it just resulted in a lot of disappointment. Making your own path and realizing that there's no two equations the same, and trying to get to that end goal is really important. I remember Josh and I, there was a specific moment, instead of trying to, reach out to the right person or get in front of the right person, or I don't know, schmooze our way into some party, or, getting in front of someone who's going to change our lives. We made a decision, just put our heads down and work, write songs, record songs, play shows anywhere. And I'm glad that we did that. And then, several years later, we pop our head out of the ground and realize, wait a second, you kind of look back and see how far you traveled. And I think there's a point in everyone's career, specifically in music, that you have to kind of just go underground and work, not knowing how you compare to the competition, or you don't really even feel yourself passing anyone or being passed. You just are working, and then eventually you pop your head up and you realize how far you've come. So
Yeah.
just encourage people to keep
That's
doing
great.
it. So
Great. That's great advice. That's great direction. And I think, a lot of musicians in Columbus, and there is a lot of very hardworking people who are just, they care about their craft.
yeah.
And I think you can get distracted. And I think that advice is clearly a message that people need to hear. So.
Yeah. No, I mean, I live here in Columbus. I'm really excited to stay here for as long as I want to be here forever. So I love this city. I love the state, and I'm proud to call it my home. I'm even more proud that there are people who live here who are proud of us. That means a lot to me. So
That's cool. Awesome.
well, thanks for having me. I'll let you guys get back to talking about how great I am.
All right, Tyler. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Take care.